Hello, everyone. I'm going to get started on today's webinar. Do not fear, we will be following up with a recording, the slides, and help desk articles. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate your time, as we know how valuable that is. This is our third quarterly product roundup of the year, and we're excited to take you through what we've been up to. So you've got me and Jess on the call. I see some familiar faces already, but for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Becky, and I've been a customer success manager here for over 3 years now. And I've had the honor of working with many of our wonderful customers. Jess will be introducing herself in a tick, but the agenda for today that we've got is a summary of our latest product releases, but primarily a deep dive into Connect, groups, and communities. Now, the lion's share of this session will be taking you through some of the changes that we've got, as they're the biggest in terms of user experience and your culture strategy. So we'll be hitting you with a lot of information, but don't worry, as I've mentioned, we will share all of the help articles, slides, and a recording following this session. Then we will move on to a recap of moderation enhancements, updates to frontline employee intelligence, and our new live streaming functionality. We'll have a Q&A at the end of the session, but please drop any questions into the box at the bottom of your Zoom throughout the webinar, because we've got another wonderful Jess from our customer success team and Rob from our engineering team who'll be on hand to answer throughout, so you don't have too many burning ones before we get there. Finally, we'll wrap up with all of our concepts for next quarter's roadmap. And boy, there are some exciting things to come, and we'll probably answer a few of your questions there as well. So I will be handing over to the lovely Jess for her intro and to take you through the highlights.
Thank you, Becky. Hello, folks. For those who haven't met me before, my name is Jess and I'm product manager here at Blink. I'm really excited to showcase some new features for you today. Before we deep dive into those specific features, I wanted to give you a high-level overview of some of the releases we made in Q2. So we worked on Connect, which we'll cover in detail in a minute and is upcoming. We've been developing our Blink form feature and now have the ability to support multilingual forms, anonymous submissions, templates, and customer data in the form. Please continue to reach out to your CSM for form creation for the time being. We've done a lot of development on our customer analytics, which will be a feature in this webinar. We have a new web podcast widget that supports Spotify, SoundCloud, and Podbean. We've got live streaming and moderation enhancements, which will be looked at in more detail today. And finally, we now support Norwegian and Spanish across the apps. For further details on any of the above, please reach out to your CSM for an overview or have a little read of our help articles that are available. So first up, we're really excited to take you on a deep dive into Connect, groups, teams, and communities. This feature is launching for you all tomorrow, and we're super stoked to see how it lands and expand Blink's usability for you and your employees. Here's a summary of what to expect. The directory will be replaced by a menu icon called Connect, and this is a place for users to view and manage existing and new connections. Users can discover and join communities that are set up by you guys, the admins. We are uniting teams and communities under the banner of groups so that admins create and manage user groups. Every team and community will have its own group homepage on both mobile and the web. And finally, team privacy settings will be renamed to feed post rules, which are assigned to a group upon setup or can be edited at any time. So this This visual outlines how to connect on Blink. Starting at the top with users, Blink is designed for connecting with users and/or user groups. You can engage users individually, alongside groups, or outside of groups. Next is groups, and groups are the foundation of your Blink experience. There are two types of user group you can create on Blink. Teams, these reflect your organizational structure. Membership is managed by you guys, the administrators, and members cannot leave the teams they're assigned to. Communities. Once an admin has created a community, these are open for all users to discover and join, and they are social in nature. You can group your users with teams and communities to build the right audiences for the right content. This grouping creates a truly bespoke experience for each user on Blink. It's governed by their teams they're a member of and the communities that they choose to sign up to and join. There are three main features for connecting with your audience: feed posts, which are a broadcast, channels, which are a group chat, and then individual chats with one-on-one or one-on-few. We'll pay more attention to feed posts and to channels in the coming slides. Cool, so let's have a closer look at our new Connect experience. A user can view and manage their connections via their Connect menu icon on Blink. This displays the user's existing connections, my contacts, and my groups, and enables the user to discover new connections, discover groups, and directory. My contacts surfaces my direct reports, if I have any, my manager, and then my key contacts. Key contacts are those I've favorited. And finally, it surfaces my general contacts, and they are those I have chatted with in the past on the platform. Next up is my groups, and this surfaces my teams and my communities that I am a member of. So teams are displayed first alphabetically, followed by communities, also listed alphabetically. I can click through to a dedicated page that shows my groups from that chevron next to my groups, or I can choose to just scroll through that carousel and have a browse of all my groups there. Discover Groups shows me communities I am not currently a member of. So at present, only communities are discoverable on Blink. If I have no communities available in my org, the Discover Groups carousel will be hidden. If it is visible, I can click on the chevron into a dedicated page for viewing and browsing those groups that I'm not a member of. Or I can continue to scroll through the carousel, just like my groups. So a reminder, this will only surface community groups I'm not a member of today. Finally, below the groups, the Discover Groups is my directory. You guys will all be familiar with this. It allows you to browse a list of all your colleagues, as well as view their profile and start chatting with them. So from my Connect menu, I can click through to any group that I'm a member of or that I'm interested in joining. I will land on a dedicated homepage for that group and will be able to explore content that's been posted to that group. All your teams and communities will have their own dedicated homepage. From there, you will see a filtered view of feed posts, channels, resources, and members. Feed posts on the group homepage show a filtered view of posts to that group. Group feed posts will still appear for the user in their main feed. And just FYI, at the moment, the featured carousel will appear on each group homepage, and that is not currently filtered to that group. We are likely to review this in future, and your feedback is always welcome. Next up is group channels. These enable the group to chat amongst themselves. A default channel is created for all community groups, whereas admins have to create the channels for team groups. When setting up a channel, the default is to add all group members unless the admin specifies channel followers. Those followers will then be added as the only members of that channel. All group members can view, join, and leave the group channels at any time. If I'm a group admin, I can create a new channel directly from the group homepage. Each group homepage has an area dedicated to resources, showing hub items that have been shared to that group. Quick links are surfaced first, followed by folders. The resources section provides easy access into regularly used materials for each group. Finally, the group homepages also shows the group's membership. Clicking View All will take the user to an alphabetical list of group members, and with admins shown at the top. Admins can also add members into the group direct from the group homepage. In order to improve a user's discovery of new groups, we have also created a new web widget. Org admins can add this to one of their columns on their main feed homepage by selecting Edit Layout and finding the widget in their library. Simply drag and drop it to where you'd like it placed on your feed homepage, and web users will be able to browse and discover new community groups that they're not currently a member of. Next up is a little look at how to manage and create groups in the admin panel. When you go to the admin panel, you will see that the menu item previously named Teams has been replaced with Groups. The new Groups experience allows you to filter your groups by type so that you can dive deeper into your teams, your communities, or your reporting teams at any time. When you select the blue Create button from the previous page, you will now be asked to decide what type of group you are creating. The product gives you a little description for each so that you are clear on your options. Just FYI, Teams have more functionality for helping you set them up. So for example, when creating a team, you will be able to utilize dynamic team rules that automatically add members according to their profile data. In addition to dynamic rules, when setting a team's feed post rules, you can also choose to allow anyone to post to that team's feed. The reason these functions are not available for communities are dynamic team rules force membership and communities are designed to be optional. And allowing anyone to post a community feed would discourage membership and proper engagement, and we want to encourage the desired behavior in that community. Cool, so to illustrate the use cases for our group types, here are some examples of the teams and communities I might be a part of if I'm an operation manager based in Victoria. I have 2 kids and I love photography and beach walks. So the teams I'm part of are operations, site managers, and the Victoria team. And the communities I've chosen to join are Victoria Socials, photography, nature lovers, and parents and work. Here are some common communities that are found in the workplace for a bit of inspiration. Veterans, LGBTQ+, menopause support, diversity in the workplace, nature lovers, pets, health and wellness, marketplace, and of course, many more that you guys will be familiar with too. Finally, we know that a lot of you will have existing social channels that you will want to convert into communities. We've written a help article to provide guidance for this, but the basics are as follows. So the first is to set up your designated community space for that existing group. Second, you can then share the community link to your channel and let users know you'll be closing that channel by a given date. You can see here at the top right of the group homepage, there's a copy link for ease, and you can just paste that in your existing channel. And then finally, you can optionally designate a few community leaders to promote your new community space and help grow its membership. We've created a number of supportive resources to help you utilize groups and communities, and you can find the links here. Just an FYI, these articles won't be searchable in our help center until after we've launched the new feature, but you can link straight from here in the meantime, and we'll share these slides with you. Cool, so thank you for listening, folks. That's a wrap of Connect, groups, teams, and communities.
Unmute myself. Now, again, there's a lot of information there. So as a little recap, just those definitions again. A group is a collection of users grouped together in either a team or a community. A team, as you all know and are accustomed to, is a type of group often reflecting your organizational structure where you define the membership. And then a community is a type of group that's more social in nature, whose membership is open to users who can join and leave as they please. But all groups are set up by an administrator. So the directory will be renamed to Connect on the front end of the app for all of your users. Under that, you will see groups where people can view their communities and their teams. You can create communities for your users to discover and join. Every team and community will have a group homepage on the app. And then in your admin panel, we've renamed team privacy settings to feed post rules, but they essentially do the same thing for your groups. Okay, moving on.
Cool. So next up, we're covering a short overview of our recent moderation enhancements. We know that moderation has been a pain point for you guys for some time, and we wanted to improve the experience of community moderation for both users and admins alike. So prior to these enhancements, users were only able to report posts on the feed. This meant that users often reported a post when they actually intended to report a comment beneath that post. And the subsequent moderation experience for the admin, as you guys will know, was slow and burdensome as they unpicked the possible reasons that reports had been made. So in addition to that pain, moderation requests were often not picked up by admins because they were lost in the feed. So this project really aimed to address these pain points and create ease and transparency around handling moderation reports. So we've introduced the ability for users to report a comment so that that report is always tied to the content in question. A single user can only report a post or a comment once, and the group admin will receive a notification in their moderation task space once the user has submitted their report. When a user reports content, they are now required to submit a reason alongside their report. They can choose between offensive content, harassment, false information, or another reason. They can optionally provide additional information to support the moderator. This new functionality is designed to help the moderator efficiently assess the appropriateness of the content and indeed of the report made. And finally, we have removed the alert for moderation out of the feed and into its own designated moderation space. Alerts for moderation will be received by the group admin or admins. On desktop, a badge will appear against the exclamation icon in the bottom left of your menu bar. On mobile, a tasks bar will become visible at the bottom of your screen when a moderation request has been made. Clicking into the moderation task gives the moderator an overview of the content that has been reported and the reason for the report. If multiple users have reported the content, you will see their names and the reasons they've given. The moderator has the option to keep or remove the content direct from this view, or they can optionally select to view the content in the feed for its full context. A log of the moderation decision is kept in the moderation archive to help moderators standardize their approach to moderation. For more support on moderation best practice, please do see our help articles, as we've got lots of advice for the best ways of managing those reports. Cool, so thank you for listening. I'm going to hand you back over to Becky to talk you through our updates on employee intelligence.
Okie dokie, thanks, Jess. So yes, now moving on to some updates to some long overdue updates to your employee intelligence section of the admin panel. Giveaway there being that only admins can view this functionality. So the first is the long and very much requested Hub Analytics. So they are visible to organization admins and content moderators in your admin panel under Employee Intelligence. And there'll be a lovely section now which says Hub, no longer coming soon, it's here. So instead of looking at analytics one by one on your Hub items, this will show you summary analytics, including the % of employees accessing Hub content, average number of opens per employee, the most popular Hub items, and more. These are also exportable and can be filtered on a team basis. So this really allows you to track engagement to any new tools that you might make available in your Hub, any new policies that you add, any new pages you create, so you can really understand what your users are accessing most in your Hub. We have also added a new section called Optimization Analytics. Now, again, under Employee Intelligence, you'll see a new section called Optimization. This is really aimed at helping you get the most out of Blink by improving data quality. Now, we know it can be difficult to spot where the gaps are in your data by exporting and looking through an Excel. So this provides a breakdown for you on the % of users with contact details populated and profile fields like job title, department, location, and line manager. Accuracy of all of this data really supports best use of the platform for automations like your team assignments, manager communication, along with the actionable insights that we can provide through the platform and any integrations you might have with third-party tools now and in the future. So getting this data right and populated has so many benefits in using Blink and understanding your workforce. So those are the updates to your frontline employee intelligence sections. Now I'll take you through live streaming on the feed, which is again a really highly requested feature from a lot of you guys. Now, this essentially allows you to promote and host live events on Blink. Currently, this functionality supports Vimeo and YouTube live streams. And we're currently exploring how to integrate more deeply with Vimeo than we currently do. But if you're using any other streaming services, then do let us know and we'll look to prioritize that in the future. Essentially, you'll be able to paste a link into your feed post and natively embed a live stream for your team members, which you can then feature in your carousel and promote the engagement to that. Users will be able to engage, comment, and interact on that post and with the live stream, obviously in the comments section and the reactions. And you can also add it as a little widget onto web as well on your web desktop view. So a really cool functionality there. If you can persuade some of your leaders to, start live streaming or starting podcasts, whatever you may. So that was a little roundup of all of the important milestone functionalities that we released in the last quarter. So now we want to open the floor up to a Q&A. So there's a little Q&A box in the bottom of your screen. So post any questions you've got now. We'll answer those and then we'll move on to a little bit of an overview of our upcoming features in Q4 on our roadmap. and what's coming in the pipeline. So while we wait for any other questions, I'm just going to take a look through what people have already asked. Patrick asked, to confirm, only admins can create communities, but anyone can join or leave. And that's right. Only admins can create communities, but anyone can join or leave. We also had a question on what will the Connect page look like when there are no communities set up? And the answer to that is that Connect will surface all users and groups. So without communities, if you don't set up any communities, it will just show the teams that they're part of, much like Directory does today. So it will be kind of exactly the same as they would see today, but Directory will be named to Connect, and it will be a lot more user-friendly. And then finally, Tracy has asked, with groups, she wanted to clarify that these won't be seen until they're set up by organization admins, and 100% correct. Groups will only, like teams, be seen after they've been set up by those admins, and only those organizational admins can set them up. So while membership to communities, anyone can join or leave and they're discoverable, they will only be discoverable after being set up by an administrator. So you still have full control over your teams and communities from that perspective. So another question, what will happen tomorrow when our staff log in? Will they be able to find everything, or have things moved and changed names? So what they'll see, and Jess, jump in if any of this is incorrect, but when they log in tomorrow, once this is live, where it says Directory currently on their app, it will read as Connect. When they go into Connect, they will see all of their groups. So currently, because you wouldn't have set up any communities at that point, they will see their groups, which will be the teams that they're part of in their organization. And then once you decide if you'd like to set up those communities, they will then be able to discover those from that same section. So the only thing for the frontline user that will change is the word from Directory to Connect. Another question here is, can you clarify community channels? Are they essentially group chats? And yes, Fiona, they are essentially a group chat with everyone in that channel, much like channels that can be set up under a team, where it'd be a group chat with everyone in that team. This is a group chat of everyone in that channel. Do you want to add anything there on the functionality there of community channels, Jess?
No, I think that summarizes it quite nicely. By default, all of your group members would be added to that channel unless you specify. So if I've got a community for pets and I create a channel, I can create that channel and everyone will be automatically added unless I specifically choose the followers of that channel. And I might say, oh, I want Becky, Jess, and Rob only in that channel. And I need to specify that to create that. It does, even when I specify those followers, all of the other members of that group can still view and join that channel as and when they like to.
Yeah, as a final confirmation, these changes go live tomorrow. So yes, that will be a change in the app tomorrow. Do get in touch with us or your customer success manager or our support team if you've got any concerns about that. We really want to make sure you guys are fully supported. A question here around custom navigation. When will custom navigation be available? Jess, can you take that one?
Yeah, that's great. I think it was going to be covered in my next slide, but Customer navigation is being worked on and in development at the moment. It's kind of an ongoing project. We are in the process of finalizing it in beta mode. And I think my understanding is that we've identified a number of customers to test and try out that beta. So we will be engaging with them quite closely to see how that lands and to see what their experience is. Following that beta, we will then be reviewing and making kind of a rollout plan for that feature from there.
Another question here around moderation is, will moderation be available in communities alongside the main feed? I can see Rob is answering this question live. But moderation, much the same as any feed post, will work in the same way. So if a post is reported, if a comment is reported, the administrators of that group will be notified and can manage it in much the same way as a team post. And the changes, what will these changes have any impacts on existing chat channels? Now, no, they won't have any impacts on the existing chat channels that you've got set up, but you may wish to transition into new channels for these community groups that you set up officially under communities. Now, the best way to do that, and we'll share a follow-up on how to do this, is copy a link to the community page that is displayed to users, which you can do by clicking the 3 dots in the top corner on the front end of the app. You'll be able to generate a link to that page, and you can post that in your existing chat channel so that people know that they can join the new group chat for that community, and you can retire that channel on a certain date. So again, you can transition your existing channels into the new community chat channels that you might set up, and we can share some steps to do that. It's not, there are obviously the benefits of doing it under the community, because it will all be discoverable to any new people that want to join that community in that really comprehensive homepage. So it'll be a lot more user-friendly to get people involved in that community. So we do recommend that you transition that, but it doesn't have to happen immediately. It can be, over time. Great question. Are there any template communications regarding these changes? And yes, we've got a number of help articles that we've created for users and admins. And what we can do, and we'll follow up after this webinar, is with a feed post template that you guys can use to communicate this to your members with a link to the relevant help articles, just so when it comes tomorrow, they'll know exactly what's happening, or if they only notice in a couple of days' time, they've got that feed post to refer to. So yes, in the follow-up to this webinar, we'll provide a little feed post template you can use or copy and paste into an email, and links to all of those articles. Oh yes, and written or video for the feed post. So we'll provide some written information for that feed post, but we'll also generate a couple of snippets from this webinar that we'll be able to use in that as well, optionally, for you guys. We know video content is king on Blink. Okay, any other questions that pop up, please continue writing them into the Q&A, and we'll continue answering them and follow up with all of the questions with answers after this webinar. But conscious of your time, we'll move on now just to look at the forward-facing roadmap and what we've got in the pipeline for the rest of this year, because we've already touched on it in one of those questions, but there's some exciting stuff coming soon. So I'll hand back over to Jess for the upcoming roadmap.
Cool, thank you, Becky. So cool, last off, here are the concepts we're exploring across Q3. So the projects listed in green here are in progress, and then the ones in yellow are under consideration. I'm going to cover the green in detail and kind of miss out the yellow for now, just for time's sake. So dynamic teams based on custom fields. We know this has been a long time in the making, but it's taken a lot of development time. The good news is that you can expect to see this in the coming month or so in your Blink instance. We're in the process of finalizing the dev. It will then be going through a very stringent testing process, and then we'll be looking at rolling that out to you guys. Next up, we are continuing to develop our advanced employee intelligence offer, and we'll be sharing more information on this in future months. Self-serve SSO is in its final stages of development, where users can set up single sign-on into other platforms. So more coming on that soon. Custom navigation is due to be in beta in the coming weeks, so we're testing that and how it lands with a select few customers. If you are interested in our beta, do please let us know. Stories on mobile is a big one for this quarter, and it's part of our strategy to modernize the app experience. Images on polls similarly aligns with our approach to modernize the feed and create a more kind of image-centric experience. Enhanced feed and home customization is part of our strategy to modernize the desktop experience and focuses on putting the power in your hands to create an experience that meets the need of your organization. And then finally, buttons on the feed seeks to improve engagement with links that are posted in feed posts. And then finally, next slide, yeah, thank you. Here are the longer term concepts we're thinking about on kind of a strategic approach. So just to be clear, these are ones where we're kind of taking a step back and thinking about what the product vision and strategy will be in this place. And these are listed as task management, dashboards and insights, which you can already see is in progress. Campaigns, so campaigns will essentially be like a fixed trigger date within journeys. Self-serve SSO, which I've already covered, the improved desktop experience, which includes custom navigation and enhancement of the home feed page. And we're also starting to plan a strategy towards events in Blink. And that's everything.
Thank you so much, everyone. Again, please keep typing in those last minute questions that you've got into the Q&A box, and we'll follow up with answers for each and every one of those, along with the feed post template to let your users know what's going to be changing tomorrow, all of the help articles, a recording of this webinar, and the slides that we took you through today as well. So look out in your inboxes for that. And we'll also add that feed post template to the help articles as well, so you can't miss it. Okay, I think we'll let you go. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, nearly halfway through the week. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Becky, for hosting.
Bye.
Bye.